All right. Well, good morning, good afternoon, everyone, wherever you are. My name is Becky. I am the project manager here at Women as One, and today is our 2024 Escalator Awards webinar. So we're going to get started here. If you have questions along the way, you can submit them in the chat or save them for the end. We'll have a questions and answers section. So today's agenda, we're going to cover the award topics and the benefits overview, just kind of talk about the structure of the awards. We'll talk about the application process. Applications are open now, which is exciting. We'll talk about some tips to make your application stand out. And then, as I mentioned, we'll have a Q&A section that Caroline is going to take over. So a little bit about Women as One, if you don't already know, Women as One was created in 2019 by Dr. Roxana Moran and Dr. Marie-Claude Maurice. These are two internationally recognized leaders in cardiovascular care and research. And our mission is to promote talent in medicine by providing unique professional opportunities to women physicians. So I imagine many of you are familiar with this if you're joining us for the webinar, and you likely have a talent directory account, which will be helpful and required as we talk through the structure of the awards. Okay, so the Escalator Awards, we've been running this program since 2020. We've had over 30 awardees since then and have awarded over $1 million in funding, which is really wonderful. Our goal is to fortify the pipeline of women leaders by escalating a highly qualified group of women physicians. Recipients of the award receive targeted funding, mentorship, and networking opportunities. And by giving more visibility to women in medicine, we hope to develop a more equitable workforce in the future. So for 2024, we've got some things that we've changed. First things, we're going to review the exciting updates we have. So we're doing things a little differently. We're redesigning the award to have a specific focus in mentorship through targeted funding and specific clinical topics, which have been selected by our sponsors. And our sponsors this year are BMS, BridgeBio, and Philips. The topics are microvascular disease, transthreatenin amyloid cardiomyopathy, and hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. I tried my best with those. We'll look at each of these in a moment with a little bit more detail. Okay, so how is the award structured? Both of the mentors and the mentees will go through the same application and review process. So you're not applying with your mentor that you already have. If you're applying as a mentee, you'll be assigned a mentor and vice versa. We create the award pairings under the guidance of a team of our expert reviewers. Majority of our reviewers have been working with us on the Escalator program the entire time, so they're very familiar with the process. They will match a current fellow or the mentee with an experienced physician. Each of you will be from different institutions, and mentors are usually those with 10 or more years of practical experience. So this year we'll have a total of 6 winners, 3 mentors who will receive $20,000 US, and 3 mentees who will receive $7,000 US. Once each pairing is created, they will work together to develop their project plan and will submit a detailed budget indicating how they plan to use the program funding. We'll also host quarterly meetings where each pairing will provide updates on the progress of their projects, not only to myself and Caroline, but to our reviewers as well. So the only, really the big takeaways from this slide here, we've changed the award amount. So mentors receive $20,000 and mentees receive $7,000. And in years past, we've had different award categories: mentor match, research, and Kickstarter. This year, we're specifically focused on mentor match, the only difference being that we have specific topics for the projects. Okay, so we'll run through our mentorship pairing number 1. This one is sponsored by Philips, and they've selected their topic as microvascular disease. So the mentor and mentee receiving this award will have a demonstrated interest in the presentation and incidence of microvascular disease. Of particular interest would be to compare presentation, diagnostic workup, treatment, and clinical path for male versus female patients. And as mentioned, the eligibility criteria for mentors is 10 years of practice, and mentees being current fellows in specialty areas of vascular medicine, and then cardiologists of any subspecialty. Application materials, you'll need a letter of interest, proof of good standing, and 2 letters of recommendation, one from inside and one from outside of your current institution. And when you log on to submit your application, all of these details are included there with a little bit more as well. Our mentorship pairing number 2 is sponsored by Bridge Bio, and the topic they selected is trans-threatened amyloid cardiomyopathy. The mentor and mentee receiving this award will develop a project based on one of the following topics: the role of TTR and or I think that says 119M mutation, you all know, using markers to improve the progressor index, predictive factors for higher risk of progression or non-response to treatment, the role of imaging in diagnosis and monitoring, and clinical management of the heart failure syndrome in ATTR. So the eligibility criteria is the same as the previous award. The only difference here is that vascular medicine is not included, of course, and cardiologists of any specialty with a demonstrated interest in the treatment of ATTR CM is a little bit more specific here. Application materials are going to remain the same for all awards. And lastly, our mentorship pairing number 3, sponsored by BMS. The topic they selected is hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. So the mentor and mentee receiving this award will work together to explore one of the following topics within hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. That would be best practices in treatment management with myosin inhibitors, referral trends in HCM diagnosis and treatment management, echo management of HCM, or health equity in HCM care. And once again, you can see the eligibility criteria and application materials remain the same. So those are the awards that we're offering this year. And we're looking forward to reviewing all of your applications. A little bit of history here. So here's a few quotes from some of our past Escalator winners. We also have several blog articles available on our website, which provide details about the work that our previous mentor match pairings have created together. You may want to review those to get some good project ideas. All right. Because I can read these, we've got plenty of time. So from Dr. Amber Johnson, her quote is, "Women as One stands as an exemplary organization of female cardiologists that are there for one another, support one another, and sponsor one another." Dr. Akila Bersali says, "Being part of the Escalator Awards brings me to a new atmosphere led by expert women who must have faced the same challenges in building the career and inspired me to get more visibility on what we can achieve in this field." And lastly, Dr. Aileen Levelt, she said, "Winning this prestigious award and entering the Women as One family allowed me to add significant quality to my research in women's cardiovascular health and helped my academic standing internationally as a research leader." I really love that quote specifically. We really want to ensure that our Escalator Award winners remain a part of the Women as One family. We want to stay in touch with you after your award cycle. We want to see how you're doing in your career. And we want to continue to share your story well past your award year if you are selected. Okay, so next we're going to talk about the application process. So as I mentioned briefly, the first step here in your application process is to create a profile in our talent directory. This is free to join. You may already be registered here, which is great. And if you're not, we'll share the sign up link in the chat so that you can complete that first step. Once you're logged into the talent directory, you'll see a link for Escalator Awards in the left-hand side of the navigation bar, which is not pictured here. I could have put an updated image. My apologies. You'll click on this link and then proceed to the application. It's pretty straightforward. It's just one page where you select your award category and upload the documents that we have mentioned. So when applying, make sure that your talent directory profile is complete. This will help our review committee understand your background and qualifications. Then submit your documents. All applicants will submit a letter of interest explaining why you feel you are a good candidate for this award and how you will use it to move forward in your career, as well as 2 letters of recommendation, one from a member of leadership at your institution, and then one from a colleague outside of your current place of work. You will also need to submit proof of good standing with your local medical licensing body, and all documents must be submitted in PDF format. If you have any trouble submitting your application, or if you don't receive your confirmation email once you have submitted it, please reach out to us so we can confirm that we received that. Okie dokie. We'll talk about some tips to make your application stand out. So we've invited a diverse group of experienced cardiologists from around the world to review applications in each category. And as I mentioned, most of our reviewers have been a part of this process for years now. Reviewers will assess each application on criteria, including the strength of your letter of interest, the content of your letters of recommendation, and your level of need and readiness for the award in terms of career escalation. Representation of a variety of subspecialties and geographic locations among award winners is also a consideration for reviewers. So we do try to pair individuals from different parts of the world. Last year we had pairings between Australia and Canada, Sudan, and I think South America. So we try to really have a diverse representation there. A few more tips. We've mentioned this 100 times. Complete your talent directory profile. Be sure to add as much information as possible, including your headshot, a personal statement, and experience level. Complete profiles provide helpful context for those reviewing your application. And having a complete profile in general is really important to stay involved in our community for other opportunities outside of the Escalator Awards. The mission of Women as One is to increase gender equity in medicine, and one of the ways we can achieve this goal is by elevating more women into positions of leadership, which is the basis for this award. So consider including some ideas about how you can use this information to boost your. Consider including some ideas about how you can use the funding boost provided by this to elevate the careers of other women, and how you can share the message of Women as One with those in your network. How will you spread the word about your efforts? We want to consider the longevity of you winning this award as well. Think about what makes your application unique. A personal story adds depth to the application, and reviewers will often advocate for a candidate whose story is meaningful to them. And for mentees specifically, be as specific as possible about your clinical areas of interest, any ideas for a collaborative project, and what you hope to gain from the mentorship. For mentors, again, specifically outline clinical areas of interest to ensure a good match. Also provide details about what you feel makes a successful mentor and mentee relationship and how you plan to foster that if paired with a mentee. Okay, so that is the content that we wanted to share with you all. I'm going to pass it over to Caroline for any questions that you may have, and she will be able to assist.
Okay, thank you so much, Becky. That was a great presentation about the Escalator Awards. So just good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, wherever you are. My name is Caroline Bowman, and I'm the head of program operations for Women as One. So happy to answer any questions that you might have about the Escalator Awards. I will do some questions that were asked prior to the webinar, and if you have any additional questions, please put them into the chat and we'll be able to see them. So probably the most frequently asked question that we get this year is, should I apply with a mentor or mentee already selected? And the answer to that is no. In this program, we really try hard to make a new cross-institutional pairing of a mentor and mentee who might honestly not have met each other in a different way. So really the goal is to create a new relationship rather than to elevate a relationship that already exists. So if you have a mentor, that's fantastic, but this award is really designed to provide that opportunity to people who might not otherwise get it. So when you apply, you can apply on your own with some project ideas, and then we will connect you with the mentor candidate that is matched with you, and you will work on a project together. So we're excited to see how that new relationship develops. Then we get a few other questions that are commonly asked. One is, I've applied in a previous year, can I apply again? And the answer to that is absolutely. We welcome applicants from previous years to reapply. And actually, several of our past winners were applicants in previous years, and the feedback that they received helped them refine their applications and eventually become Escalator Award winners. So please feel free to apply, even if you've applied in the past. Another question that we get sometimes is, what is proof of good standing? So this is for us written confirmation of some kind that you have complied with your regional medical licensing or medical board requirements. So this can be different based on the country that you're coming from, but basically we want to know that you are a licensed medical professional currently in practice. So lots of times people ask us to explain more about the projects that we're expecting the mentorship pairings to complete. And this is really very open-ended on purpose. We want to give our mentorship pairings the freedom to create a project that works best for them. As Becky mentioned, there are some blog articles available on our website that detail the projects that past winners have completed. Excuse me. And we're really excited about the work that's being done by our mentor match pairings in particular. It's unique and it is helping to improve the quality of care while also helping to elevate the careers of the participants involved. So for example, our 2022 mentorship pairing of Dr. Heather Gornick and Dr. Irina Mabans was created to help improve the quality of cardiovascular care in Mozambique. So they did a translated training program for cardiology nurses, and Dr. Mabans led this training program to help improve the quality of care that was delivered to cardiovascular patients, which started in one center in Mozambique and actually ended up being spread throughout the country. So it was a really exciting program that they developed together. Dr. Gornick was the mentor in that situation and supported the creation of the program, and actually brought Dr. Mabans to Cleveland, where she practices, for a brief training program so that she could see how things are run and take that information back to Mozambique and help incorporate that, some of that into what they're doing in their clinic. So that was a really exciting project, quality improvement project. Other projects that have been done have been more straightforward research. And we've had some other more unique opportunities. We've had one mentorship pairing, Dr. Shola Banerjee and Dr. Aisha Kader, who created a mentorship toolkit, which was research-based and specifically designed for women physicians. And now we're going to be providing that mentorship toolkit to our new mentor match candidates. So someone has a question in the chat. Thank you for your question. How much time do I have to complete the project? Great question. The mentorship cycle for the Escalator Awards is 1 year. So we will start the cycle on May 1st of this year, and it will run through April 30th of 2025. Sometimes projects are created that are more ambitious and can't be completed in the 1 year time cycle, and we totally understand that. The structured mentorship and quarterly calls will continue for the 1 year cycle. If the project continues beyond that, we will continue to support you and publicize and elevate that project whenever it's finished. So the time frame is pretty flexible, but we do like for you to make progress and have established milestones. So when we do our quarterly mentorship calls, we will ask you about your timeline and the milestones that you're meeting, and just make sure that you're not encountering any roadblocks along the way. So we'll go back to a few other commonly asked questions that we get. What information is to be included in your letter of interest? Again, this is pretty open-ended, but for this project, because this year we're focusing on specific clinical topic areas, it's really important to include your areas of clinical interest when you write your letter of interest and include your background in that particular topic. You may want to add some potential project ideas, but these are just ideas at this point. You and your mentor or mentee will work together to establish the final project. The review committee, as Becky mentioned, will also be interested in how you hope to gain from winning this award and what sort of guidance you're seeking as a mentee, or how you hope that being a mentor will positively affect your career goals. Can talk about what you think makes a successful mentorship relationship, and even what maybe makes a mentorship relationship unsuccessful, or why you are searching for mentorship in this situation. And finally, that you might, Becky mentioned this already, but it's important to consider how this opportunity might put you in a position to pay it forward and lift up other women physicians. This is something that our review committee places great importance on, and is consistent with the mission of Women as One. Another question that we've been asked this year is, what does demonstrated clinical interest in the topic actually mean? This is fairly open, especially for our mentee candidates, as we know you're just at the beginning of your career, but we're looking for people who have some background knowledge in the indicated topic area. So this could be CME courses that you've taken, research that you've done, or even just an interest in the topic that you can elaborate on more when you write your letter of interest and submit that. One question we also get frequently is, can people apply for more than one award topic area? Unfortunately, the answer to that question is no. This year, only one application can be accepted per person. However, our reviewers will consider whether a candidate is a better fit for another category as part of the review process. But because the topics are so specific this year, we'd encourage you to apply in the one topic area that best fits your clinical interests. And then just to clarify, the documents that are needed for your application would be your letter of interest and 2 recommendation letters. We ask for one from a member of leadership in your current institution and one from outside of your institution. So if you are having trouble collecting these documents, or if you have specific questions about that, I would encourage you to email us. We have a general email address for the Escalator Awards. It's escalator@womenisone.org. And our team there, Becky has put our specific emails on the screen. Either of us would be happy to answer any questions that you might have specifically about the award. One more question that we do get frequently this year is about the experience level. The experience level for mentors and also mentees are really a guideline to kind of give you an idea of where the awards are going to be the best fit. So a mentor award is going to be the best fit for someone who's got 10 years or more of current practice, and the mentee award is the best fit for current fellows. However, if you're early in your career, but you're a year out of fellowship and you want to apply as a mentee, or if you're 7 years of practice or 8 years of practice and you really want to apply as a mentor, go ahead and apply. Our review committee is going to review each application on its own specific merits. So you can go ahead and apply. Use the letter of interest as an opportunity to explain why, even though you're outside the established parameters for the award, you've gone ahead and applied anyway, and why you feel you're still a good fit for this award. And the review committee will take a look at that and consider all of the applications that we receive. So I'm just taking a look at the chat and the Q&A box just to see if there are any more questions. This presentation is being recorded and can be reviewed later on our website. And Becky has put our emails and our contact information on the screen. So please reach out to us with any specific questions that you might have about your situation. We're happy to answer those. And we hope that you will apply for the Escalator Awards this year. Becky, anything to add before we go?
No, nothing to add. I'll switch back to our contact information just in case you want to take a picture of that. But we appreciate you all taking the time out of your day to join us and look forward to reviewing your applications.
Thank you so much, everyone. Best of luck.